So yeah. I mean, main reason that I wanted to catch up is just kind of get an idea what you've been doing for the last year and a half or so. Because as I was saying, like we were just chatting before this offline, and you were
hmm
super across like going to tournaments, streaming tournaments. I remember you were like restreaming and casting a bit as well.
hmm Yeah, no, I kind of took a hiatus
Mm.
kind of deal, and I don't know, like this whole thing kind of screwed things up.
Yeah,
It
for real.
was kind of like it was kind of weird. Like it was like okay, I was going everywhere, and then all of a sudden I was like, I go to summits, kind of like was dwindling down, right? And then I couldn't go to fun days and stuff like that. But I, I don't know. So I always love streaming. I think it's fun. I think it's fun. I don't know. I don't think it's like a great full time gig for me. So then I took a little break, and then with this whole thing going on, kind of confusing. It was like, okay, do I stream more,
Yeah.
work? So yeah, but I think it's confusing in the sense where like unemployment was paying, it's paying, right? Like
Yeah,
it's paying like
same here. Yeah.
it's paying like a lot, and I'm kind of like, all right, okay,
Mm.
do I keep just fucking collecting or do I just go back to work? But I opted for work and everything, and so it's like, all right, let's do this deal.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so I'm kind of waiting. I think like my waiting date's the fourth the next month, and so I'm kind of like, we'll see what happens.
Mm.
Um, yeah,
Yeah, it's the
for
same
now.
here actually. Like I'm
Is
borderline
it?
richer than I've been all year, like because of basically I was in sales, like I was working for a company like doing
hmm
magazine ad space sales, which is fine right up until
hmm
of course like economic downturns just completely shit on that industry, right? So my
Mm.
job became like really hard to do.
Echinoid?
Economic, like as soon as there was like an
Oh,
economic
okay.
downturn, yeah. Um, so basically that job became like more and more stressful. Like I was working from home, like we were doing more and more call time, like trying to get people on the phone, trying to make something happen. It just wasn't happening. And so I realized that going like becoming unemployed, so like quitting my job and taking like government benefits that are like basically like relief for this time, because like my
hmm
job was becoming unstable anyway, was actually going to make me
Right.
like if I think I have like 110 subs on Twitch now, and between that and like
Oh, nice, dude. Yeah.
yeah, so like I stream a bit as well, and like between a few different avenues, like now that poker games are gonna start back up, I'll probably start going to those as well. Like basically, like I can piece together actually more money than I was making in my job, which is kind of fucked up.
Mm. Right.
But I mean, it's
Very similar. I
mm,
was kind of like, what the hell?
yeah,
What am I doing? And I want to go to like what, just like Tuesday. What was it like the Tuesday turnups or all that shit? I don't know.
yeah,
But I kind of like dipped out on them, and I wanted to go. And I could still like for me, basically. Let's see. Basically, I feel like my role once in a while like was like, okay, I could go to Summit and I can do IRL streams for tournaments
yeah,
if they're worth it. If the homies are worth it, like Robin and like Summit, like and they're cool with it,
mm,
I'm cool with that. Like, you know. So my streaming game was kind of like on the down low, but and I could see players, like and I played players that are good. I was like, I still want to be relative because I love the game.
dude, it's
I
so hard to
still,
give this game up, isn't it?
it's almost impossible.
Yeah,
It's like, it's so hard. It is difficult. And yeah, I feel like, yeah, I see a player and I still feel like, okay,
mm,
I'll fuck you up.
yeah. I know. Like I'm
Yeah.
the exact same, man.
And
There's
yeah. And it gives you a motivation. You're like, it gives you a
it
drive. And
gives
I'm
you a
like, oh,
purpose.
but yeah, and I still got that drive, and I'm like, and I'm like, okay, hold on, Alex, pump the brakes. You still got work,
Yeah,
maybe,
yeah.
like you still got reality, and I'm like, "Ay."
It's the melee
So,
player. Like, it's so easy to slip back into that, and it's so comfortable.
mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
we've been talking here. Like, I'm getting older as well. Like, you know all about it. Like, I'm 27 now, and all I want to do, man, as soon as this is over,
Mhm.
is fly straight back to California and try to beat everybody again. Like,
So you've been okay. You've been in Australia
yeah,
lately,
yeah,
or
I'm
like?
I'm home
Oh,
now. I've
okay,
been
okay,
home
okay.
for the last, basically, like, it's borderline impossible for me to stay in America because of visas and stuff.
Hmm.
So I can only ever come for short stays. But I mean, now, of course, like, I have so many friends in California, and I miss them all the time. And I feel like
Right.
Southern California is almost like a second home to me because I lived there for like a year and a half, moved in with all these people, made all these new
Dude,
friends.
you lived here for a while. I was like, I remember you said all that, and you're like, I'm gonna live here, and I was like, oh shit. I was like, okay.
Yeah,
I was like, you had a good spot over there, but I was like, okay, let's see how that goes. But then nobody could predict this,
yeah,
like we're all
yeah.
so
I,
that's crazy.
that Coliseum, I remember there was like the first tournament where I actually got to Southern California, and you were there, and you're like, "Oh shit, this guy actually made
Oh
it."
my gosh, your balls here. Yeah, that
And
was nuts.
yeah, we were just like drinking whiskey and playing on a side setup or something. But
Mhm.
on that front, though, like,
I miss those, man.
yeah, you can't drink no more, right? You had like a big health scare, right?
Right, big scare.
Mm.
I can. It's more like I'd rather
Rather
not kind
not,
of
yeah,
deal.
for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
No, it's a good time to hang
Um,
it up.
yeah, for a while, like at least see, or I don't. It's confusing. It's like, okay, do I
Mm.
do this or not?
Yeah.
But no, definitely for now, or for a while, or forever. I'm not sure.
Hmm.
But I miss those Power Nines, all that shit, dude. Like going to a tournament live, like in person.
Mm.
Who I played somebody recently. It was fun on net play. So for me, you're saying you mentioned playing somebody on net play. For me, it feels weird. So I played for a while so much on net play that it felt weird playing on a CRT.
I had that last
Right?
night. Yeah, Kaylin came over, and I was like,
Yeah,
this is strange."
it feels weird,
Mm.
right? And then so like, yeah, it was like, oh shit! Like when I get to a Power Nine or something, it's gonna feel bizarre. Um, so I'm not too sure how I'm gonna feel about playing like in person. I was like,
Hmm. Yeah, it's
yeah,
like that, but I'm sure once this is over, like, locals will start back up again. Dawson will start hosting something again, and it'll, playing live will feel just the same. I don't know where you're located, but hopefully it's close by to whatever local starts up, and maybe you can get there after work or something.
right.
Yeah.
So I work in Cerritos, so it's kind of like a pretty mutual hub, but um, I live in La Mirada, which we're here. I right now I'm like I have like a 10 ping for upload or some bullshit. Like, and I'm kind of like, oh shit, like I can't join the tournament that well. So I want to stream, but I'm like, I don't know, it's
Mm.
iffy. Internet's been bizarre. There's this whole 5G 5G internet thing. I don't know if that's like interfering, but I'm like in moments, dude, my shit crashes up.
True.
I'm gonna like, so I don't know. It's like we'll see where that goes.
Yeah.
Then yeah, before I was like I wanted to go to the gym a lot more too, and oh no, I'm sorry. I wanted to pick up like home gym workouts and stuff, but it's not the same feel as going to the gym and having like a
It's not, is
routine.
it?
It's not the same. No, it's not.
And you
So
don't
I'm
get the
like,
same pump, like, you don't feel the same.
yeah. Before I was like, okay, I'm off work at 5. I'll get home at 5:20, and then I'll go to the gym, do treadmill 20 minutes,
Yeah.
do stairmaster for another 25 minutes, and then I was like, yeah, like I knew. And then now it's like, okay, I'm kind of like scared, but I don't know. It's interesting for sure. Like,
And you're
it
in that
feels weird.
environment too with other people who are working out too. It's like you know what you're there to do. You're not like at home, sort of like doing a couple of reps and then getting up, moving around. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yep, exactly. Yeah, I went for a run. I've been going for a couple of runs randomly, and I was like, this motherfucker's here to work out. Like, I could tell. I could see him on his run, like, going, and I'm like, oh man, I need to get on that drive, like,
yeah.
and I'm trying. I'm like, oh, this guy's like pigeon watching or whatever.
It's so easy to get lazy, man. My diet has never been worse than during this Corona. My McDonald's
Oh,
intake has multiplied. Let me tell you.
dude, I'm like trying to figure out, yeah. Oh man, it's a bunch of random shit.
It's a confusing time though, man. It's like everything feels a bit topsy turvy. Like at least you still got work though. Like you're still going somewhere. You're still doing something. Like me, I wake up right there. I get on this computer right here. I go make food. I come back. Like sometimes I literally didn't leave the house for like 3 days the other week, and I was like, shit, I gotta get out for a walk or something, man. This is cooked. This is fucked up.
Dude, that's funny. That's funny. I was like, I feel like playing Fortnite. I was like, oh my god, I feel like playing Call of Duty or whatever. Like,
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like trying to figure it out. Melee, I picked up Melee, and then people are inviting me to go over, and I'm kind of like, should I? Should I go over? Is that bad? Is that? I'm like super conflicted on all of it, but I'm trying to see. I don't know. I'm like weighing my options. It feels like a lot,
Hmm.
and like yeah, resting, sleeping, kind of chilling,
Yeah, yeah.
watching movies. I don't know. Like I'll get on a show, binge it, and I'm like, okay, that was cool.
That was cool. Yeah,
Yard
that's cool.
yard work. Yeah, dude. I'll never forget the day, dude. Miles, I do you remember this? We went to your house to Australia.
Yeah, yeah, I remember.
Yeah, I don't think you do, dude. We went. We had mayhem. We had kangaroo. We bought food. We did all this and
Yeah,
that.
that was crazy, man.
And Mango and Joey were like going hamburgers in the backyard. They were fighting, and
Yeah,
then
Mango nearly died, man. You remember Joey
dude, I
killed
was
him?
concerned. I was so concerned. Yeah. And then the next day, this is what I'm talking about. We all woke up, and I was so like, okay, there's no way they're not gonna see this shit. And like, they woke up, they were having like coffee. They were having coffee, and
My parents, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
they were just chilling. Your parents were just chilling, having coffee, and looking at the mayhem that happened in the backyard. It's just a bunch of leaves that were like
Like
spread
empty
apart.
beer bottles and shit. Yeah.
I was kind of like, and I tried to fix some of it, but I was looking, I was like I was like, oh my god! And they didn't say anything. They're like, okay, and they
Yeah.
just fucking walked away.
They're
Oh
like,
my
yeah,
god!
that's just how it is, I guess.
I didn't know that was so.
You were the
insane.
nicest house guest though, man. Like you were like asking my mom, like, hey, is this okay if we do this or like if we do that? And
Oh,
like
dude,
Mango and Joey were just like just doing whatever, man.
dude, that was so insane. It was funny too because I was like, okay, all right, is there enough like, uh, what is it called, the pitter brittle or whatever that thing that's gross?
Uh,
Your mayonnaise, your mustard, or something.
oh, okay, like something for like toast or something.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I was like, "Is there enough for everybody?" And everyone's like, "Yeah, I don't give a fuck."
Yeah, yeah, it was a fun week, man. I remember Mango. I got home from school and Mango's sitting on my porch drinking a bottle of Bombay Sapphire, and he goes, "Oh, hey, dude." He's just sitting there, and he's just like outside for some reason. He goes, "Oh, hey, dude, you must be the guy who's housing us. What's up?" And it's just like
Oh
it's like
my
4 p.m.
God.
or 5 p.m. He's just sitting there in the garden.
Yeah, we showed up like 2 weeks late, and then I remember we got there, and we had like two crates of beer,
Yeah, just
and
ready to
like we
go.
should, and we're like, "Is this where we're supposed to go?" And and the doors open, and your parents were like, "Hello," and I was like, "Oh shit!" It was so funny. I was like, "Hi." I was like, "Where can I put this?" It was so funny.
I'll
It
never
was
forget as
confusing.
well that final night where you convinced Mango to book the next flight. And we drove
Oh
back to
man.
that meet where Chillin' Dude was, and he was all sad because he thought I was just going to pick him up and take him home. So, for those who haven't heard this story before, Alex, you missed your flight, right?
No, yeah, I
Yeah.
missed my flight. Somebody. So basically, what happened was somebody got us a flight, and he said something like, "Hey, Alex," he's like, "You have the same flight as Mango," and I was like, "Okay, sounds good."
Hmm.
So I was ready for my flight with Mango. So
Yeah, yeah.
we flew together to Australia. And then I'm flying back. I was like, same flight again,
Yeah, of course.
I'm guessing. And it wasn't the same flight. I was on a hold for like, what? Fuck, dude, that was a while. You saw me. I was outside of, I don't know whose house.
Yeah, that was
And I
Phil's
was
house, I think, yeah.
calling. I was calling and I was waiting, and they were like, "Nope, you called. Basically, this is a third party company. Blah blah blah."
Yeah.
I lost my flight. I went and I called for another flight. I had to buy another flight. It was
Yeah,
like a
yeah.
grand one way, and I was like, "Fuck."
In that
And
car
that was
ride, I
fine.
remember as well, because we were driving Mango to the airport, and you were going to have to stay another night. And as we were getting closer to the airport, you were like, Mango, man, let's just run one more night. We'll go to the city. We'll come back. And it
I
wasn't.
was me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You were convincing him
Oh, fuck.
because
Okay.
because it wasn't
No,
gonna.
we were all. Don't
We
put it
were.
on me. Just don't put it on me, dude. Please don't. Come on.
No, we were all convincing. We all wanted to do one more night, but
Okay, it was a bunch of people like just going
the
hamburgers.
thing is though, it was gonna the way that the layovers worked. The flight that you were gonna get the next day was a direct, and the flight Mango was on had a layover. So even
Oh,
if
it
he
was almost the
partied
same.
for another night, he got home at the same time.
Oh, fuck. Okay, yeah.
So it was like, do you want to spend like 8 hours in New Zealand on your own, Mango, or do you want to just rip another flight? Like, just say fuck this flight. Let's book the same one that you're having to rebook tomorrow morning, and you get home at the same time. So it's like stolen. It's like stealing time, really. And
Yeah.
I remember like as we were driving, getting close to the airport, Mango was like, "Fuck it, dude, turn the car around. We're gonna go back." We go back, get chillin', dude, and he's sitting there all sad because he's just playing melee. He thinks his holiday's over, and we had Mango wait in a bush or like behind a car, and we are like, "All right, chillin', we gotta go." Like I made up some excuse to like get him out of the meet. Like it was like, we gotta go clean up. Like my mom's really pissed because like we've been partying at the house for a week. You know, we gotta go clean up. And so chillin', he looks so sad. He's like unplugging his controller. He thinks his Australia holidays like we're gonna have to go clean a house, and he's gonna leave in the morning. And then as we're walking to the car, Mango jumps out and he's like, "What's up, bitch? We're doing one more night." And we just start cranking the tunes, pick up another case of beer, get back to the house, play melee, we go out. I think we went
You
like
remember losing
casino. We
Joe?
tried to go to strippers. Yeah,
You remember losing Joey, dude?
he kept
Joey
running
was
away.
no, disappeared. He just like disappeared, and we're like, we got back home, and this motherfucker was like, "I only found your house because we went to Jimmy's or some
Some
shit."
pizza
Like,
place, yeah. He like had to order an Uber
he,
to the
he
pizza
was like
place.
knocking on the door with all God's life. He's like praying that it's the right one, and then he shows up and he's like, "Hey." Like you just kind of like super sporadic. It's funny. We're like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
Yeah, we found him like 5 separate times, and then he ran away again. So we were just like, "Fuck it, he can find his own way home."
Yeah, that definitely happened.
I remember
Oh
as
my
well,
god.
Mango on the Sunday when he was supposed to wake up. It's like Sunday's the day where he's gonna face off against like Leffen and everything. And um, him and
Got
Kalen
sick.
went out on Saturday night and stayed out till like 4 a.m. like drinking and stuff. And the next day, Kalen was supposed to go get Mango, and apparently Kalen knocked on the window for like an hour, and Mango just didn't get up, didn't, because like my parents had to go somewhere. Like Mango was the only one in the house, and Kalen was worried because he thought Mango was dead. Like he could see Mango through the window a little bit, I think, but Mango was like not moving, like just stone cold. And Kalen was getting more and more worried because he was like, "Is Mango actually just straight up dead?
Is he okay?
Did he die in Australia?" And then Kalen keeps knocking, and Mango eventually just like opens the door, and he's like, "Hey man, why are you knocking so loud?" After an hour,
Just came out calmly.
grabs a banana from the fruit bowl, goes to the tournament, like just gets up in the clothes he's in or whatever, goes to the tournament and just dumpsters Leffen. Like one of the best performances. Like did not miss a beat, man.
Yeah.
Like it was such a good set.
Yeah, I remember that. Leffen kind of woke up and he was kind of like, I don't know, till this day, we're like, was he hungover? He was just kind of mad and stuff. And he was like, no, he's sick. He didn't show up to something, right?
I don't know. The only way I remember it was Mango played on fire that day, and it didn't really matter.
Yeah, Leffen was like, he had a fever or something.
Yeah,
like he was feeling well, and he took the L, and he showed up, and then he played it. He fucked me up. He played me in tournament too. Yeah, and it's like, yeah, I don't feel well. I was like, I think it's called a hangover. Like, like you're just not feeling well, right? And, and then Mango. Dude, it was fun. That was the day he had like a seizure or some shit on stream.
Who, Mango?
No, Leffen.
Oh, jeez, I don't remember that.
No, he didn't have an actual seizure. I think it was the audio's off.
Oh yeah, on the interview.
Yeah. Yeah,
I remember
all that crap. Yeah,
I remember Johnny trying to fight you as well.
Oh no!
Pre-party, dude, and you kept telling him don't do it. You kept telling him.
God. Yeah, that was super fun. That party was fun. That party was super fun.
Yeah.
Then Johnny comes along and wants to beat my ass for whatever reason. Yeah, I remember. Let's see. We get there. It's like a underground pub. It was super fun, and people were buying me drinks. I was hanging out, and people asked me. They had like a Melee on stream. It wasn't on stream. It was just like a projector playing for Melee, and we're playing, having fun. And then I go outside because it was so hot in the venue. Yeah, and you could link up the video of what's going on. Johnny just like wants to beat my ass. He wants to beat people.
Yeah, he wanted a piece, man.
I'm not even gonna like misinterpret the match, but it was funny and fun. And I was walking around. I remember I was walking around those alley streets, and like I had a lot of cool graffiti. And do you remember that? Or
yeah, I remember that night. I remember Johnny kept trying to punch you, and then you punched him like once on the arm, and he like after being provoked for like half an hour, he was just like punching you and doing all this shit. And I remember you finally were like, all right, is this what you want, man? And just gave him a tap. And then he was like keeled over in an alley in like a gutter. And I picked him up. I went over and I got him. And I was like, yeah, as I was picking him up, he kneed me in the nuts. And I was like, all right, you can go straight back into that gutter, buddy.
Dude, I was so shocked. I was like, he's the one that's housing. Dude, it was crazy. Put the video, there's a video on YouTube. I was like, it was funny, but I was like, oh my god, I was like, this is the guy who's housing his wife.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd already fought him at a party a couple of nights before you and Mango got there. So it was like, originally it was like Hugs, Lucky, I think, and Johnny got there first. And I was set to go before I knew I was housing him. So like the fun fact and the reason why you guys ended up staying with me was because you were supposed to stay with somebody else who donated a bunch of money. I was actually against you guys coming to BAM because I was like, let's have our own tournament. Like we don't need like all these top, like let's battle it out between ourselves.
Oh, is that right? I didn't know that.
Yeah. Well, not because like I didn't want you guys to come,
Yeah,
but because I just want like we have one like major a year basically at that point, and I was like, the bracket's just it's gonna be cool, but it's not gonna really be our event anymore. It's gonna be like, these 8 other
yeah.
players are kind of gonna take over, and that's fine. But I wanted just to see who was the best player in Australia, basically. And I thought that was really
Right, right.
exciting.
Oh, okay, I see.
But
Got
so on the forums and stuff where like the whole donation drive happened, I was posting like I'm like not into this idea, like I'm not going to donate and whatever. And then a bunch of people donated hella money, so it ended up happening. And one of those people was supposed to house you guys. That fell through for whatever reason. I get a call from the TO who's organizing the whole thing saying, "Can you house these guys?" And I was like, yeah, all right, I'll spend a week with these, like with Mango and Lucky and Alex and like all these guys that I know through Melee. And so it went from me being like against the idea to having one of the best weeks of my life. And so I was like, well, this is cool.
Dude, it was so fun. It was actually insanely fun.
But
I went to the casino.
I was set up to go to a party right before any of this had happened. Like I was invited to go, and I called this girl who's hosting this party, and then I'm like, can I bring these 3 random American guys that I'm housing? And she was like, yeah, sure. Like, bring them along. So we all go, and a bunch of people at the party are actually smashers, like from ages back. So they recognize Lucky and stuff. He's like getting recognized at this random like suburban house party. And for whatever reason, I think we ended up doing 2 versus 2. It was Chillin' Dude and Johnny versus me and Kalen in the backyard or something. So we did that wrestle. But then we were just doing all of these wrestling matches and stuff. And then Johnny just did not want to stop. Like him and Kalen. Kalen was just beating this guy's ass, dude. Because Johnny was just kept trying to fight him. Kalen just beats his ass in the front yard. I'm wrestling with him. And then we get back in the car and he's like, fuck you, dude. Fuck you. And then and he's like saying all this shit. I'm like, I get him into his bed. He's like covered in grass stains and stuff. And he wakes up the next morning. He's like, I'm sorry, man. You're the homie. You're pretty cool. I'm sorry what I said last night.
Ended up like,
yeah. The next day he was like, he's so angry. The night he was so angry, and then he wakes up the next day. He's like, thanks for housing us, man. Like you're pretty cool.
can't love someone till you hate them. That's the way I see it, I guess.
And Hugs like isn't really about that action, but he's just seen it so many times that he's just like, sorry guys, like he just like knows what's gonna happen.
Was Hugs there?
Yeah, he was there.
Oh shit!
You just erased him from your memory.
I guess. I was like thinking back, trying to go back. Yeah, gambling. Okay, yeah, no. Oh man,
Chillin' Dude gambling. I remember him just being
Chillin',
the worst poker player of all time.
I remember at one point, when I lost to Leffen, and he came up to me after I lost to him, and he's like, yeah, that moment, like, you shouldn't have come up to me. He's like, it was not appropriate. Like, it was a bad decision.
Who,
and
Leffen said that?
Leffen, yeah, he called me out. He was like, it's just bad idea. Like, and I was like, fuck, yeah. No, I know it was a bad idea, but like, I was kind of like trying to shine spike you or some shit.
Oh, so he's talking about the game.
He was talking about, and he was giving me tips.
Oh, okay.
And I was kind of like, all right, motherfucker. Like,
yeah, you were just like, whatever, bro.
No, but it was good advice, like optimal advice.
Yeah.
So I was kind of like, yeah, but I don't know. I like Leffen a lot.
Yeah.
He's a cool dude, and he was trying to help me out. And I was kind of like, yep. Not the right time, but
yeah. Like that straight after a loss thing where it's just like, yeah, you're probably right. I just don't want to hear it right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No, I think Leffen actually came off like he didn't show the best side of himself that week. I think Australia wasn't like the best trip for him. Like I think he moved
Mm.
housing once. He wasn't like comfortable where he was housing. He ended up getting like a hotel or something, and then like
Yeah, it was kind of bizarre. I
I think
remember that too.
he was a bit younger and maybe a bit like shyer or not so into. He seems way more easygoing now, and all the conversations I've had with him now, we ended up taking a pretty long Uber ride from. I'm trying to remember what tournament it was, but it ended up being like me, him, and I think homemade waffles on this really long Uber ride, and I just got to ask him all the questions that I had about like Fox and like his career and all this stuff, and he just talked to me and like gave me all these answers and was like, he's a super homie. Like we were all having fun. I think he's way more relaxed now than maybe he was back then. And like, what was that? That was 2014, maybe. He was 6 years younger.
Younger.
I would have been 21 or so, and he must have been like 18 maybe. Like to think of it in that way, like you're in a new country, even though he would already traveled a lot by that point. Like I
It
probably,
is.
I would have been the same. Like, who's this weird guy I'm housing with? Like, I just want to play Melee now. I'm gonna get a hotel room. Like, I can completely get it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, for real. Whenever he was sick, he was like, blah blah
Yeah, a
blah.
little
And
bit
I was
sick.
like, okay, interested. I was like, what the hell's going on? It's fun. I don't know.
Yeah, I
I
think these days he'd be much more down to like to party and meet a bunch of new people and
right.
yeah. Interestingly,
Um,
I think Armada
yeah,
was actually supposed to come to that tournament too, and for
he
whatever reason
was.
couldn't make it.
I think he was. You're right. I
Hmm.
remember I was showing up. Okay, so I got to BAM and people were bringing me drinks, and I was like, "Oh yeah, you could get better at like blah blah blah. This you could get better here, blah blah blah. Like do that and this and that." And then like
Yeah.
people were like, I remember looking at what was the thread, and people were like, "Oh, dude, Alex is so cool and chill." And then Leffen was a dick, like we were just mad, and they're like,
Yeah, yeah.
"Yeah, yeah, Mango's kind of cool, but like he performed, we all performed," and I was like, "Oh," but like it was funny, like the interaction with people,
Like what it actually means
um,
to him. Yeah.
yeah, what it means, and I was like, "Yeah, I'll canceling, like fucking do that," and blah, blah, blah.
Mm.
And they were like so stoked,
Yeah.
and with Leffen, it was like, pay me $1, and I'll,
Yeah,
I'll,
yeah.
fucking- I'll do this,
Because
whatever.
you
I'll
guys were like
do that.
celebrities, like that's how it felt to our community when you guys came here. It
Oh,
wasn't just like here are these like really good players. It was like these are for most of the kids who watched Melee in our scene at the time. It was like these are
mm,
like these larger than life people. I know there's just the Mango's just that kid that you grew up with, like you just know him. But for these guys, it's like he's this mystical figure, and like anyone part of that crew is kind of the same, you know. So
mm,
when you're
got
giving
it.
them tips and stuff, that's like I remember at the time
Yeah.
we felt like we were super behind on Melee as well. I think now we've got players that are actually like and like of course with like Spud becoming like the beast that he is now and
Oh,
with
yeah, yeah.
Sora being so good as well. I feel like people get the idea that they at least know what top level play feels like. But back then with we had no idea what it even felt like to play someone like Hugs as Samus. That was such a weird thing for me because I never played a floaty who was that good or like a
Mm.
like I just had no idea
Good at his.
his
Yeah,
things.
yeah, yeah. Right,
Yeah,
exactly. Like, safe style, his spacing, zoning. Like he was super
mm.
good. He is good. I mean, I wouldn't say, I can't say he's bad. He's fucking really good.
Someone so
Um,
developed in that way though,
hmm
like
hmm
I.
Yeah.
I still to this day think that anyone who beats Hugs the first time they ever play him is a genius because it's really hard to beat that thing straight off the rip. I remember the first time I played him, I got washed. Second time I took a game and game three was close. Like I don't think I think I only played him twice, but it went from being like a complete wash to being pretty close.
You're gonna see me fucking. I got him a few
Yeah,
times, but
you got him a bunch of times.
he's definitely amazing. He's good. He's hard to beat. Like he's hard to beat. You have to like kind of like dig into like a brain.
You have to
Like
figure it out.
yeah, it's tough.
And
And
we never played anyone like that, with such a developed play style. And like even you and Chillin were just so much faster than us.
mhm.
That like I think for those people to be getting tips, it's crazy how much how much
Yeah,
somebody
it
walks
was
away with
funny.
something.
Yeah, right. When I played Spud, we went to what was it, your friend's house or something, and we went to like a little cul-de-sac and stuff, and like I went there and I played Spud. I played Spud a lot, and I was like, okay, this guy's got potential, like beyond. He's good.
Yeah.
But we played a set. I played him. I fucked him up. Like, but it was like, dude, I could tell he's good. But I was like, every time, and then when it came time to play, like, I crumbled. Like he beat me. He beat me. He was like,
You
and I
you were
didn't
on
know.
the end of a pretty long week as well. Like I will say that.
Yeah,
I think
the longest week of my
when we
life.
woke up on that Sunday, I don't think you're in peak performance
Yeah,
shape.
yeah, it was
No jokes, but
memorable. Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
And we played, and I feel like every time I talk to Spud, like I recognize, yeah, you're better than me now, yeah. But that day, I was like, I didn't know I could meteor cancel. I couldn't.
Yeah, yeah.
And
I remember
I
that.
was like, he gave me a hug. I gave him a hug
Oh,
back. Like,
what a
oh,
moment.
whatever. It was fun. It
Yeah,
was fun. I'm not mad about it. It was super super chill.
that was a good
But
moment.
I had a good time with Spud. It's coming. He's came into my stream and like hang out, chill. Oh man, I miss that guy. I miss that whole time.
Yeah, it was an interesting time in Melee as well because I feel like your whole Mango was getting bigger, like the whole thing was exploding, and your stream was getting bigger as well. I think you were one of the biggest Melee streamers at one point.
Yeah.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of leading the way
Yeah.
on that. Right
Yeah.
after that magic clip of you playing Mewtwo King, like that era seemed to be like Melee was just on this upward trajectory, and
Yeah. Definitely. I want to say like a little bit before that, like Mango's getting big. Yeah, and he kind of like he was like, "Hey, start streaming, go for it," and started streaming. I was very well, like, I got along with Gamer and certain streamers, and I don't know, I just kind of kept going with it for a bit, like, and kind of still feel like I'm that guy. Um, and it was fun, and now I'm not too sure, like, how it goes. Haven't been watching as much.
yeah. And how
Yeah.
do you feel about like you still want to stream at least to some extent, like maybe just like a part time thing?
Yeah, I kind of wonder. I'm like, okay, if I stream, let's say a big tournament or something, I kind of feel like maybe they're not gonna fucking trip out about it, right? Like,
Yeah,
or maybe they do. So I'm like, okay, it's kind of like a gray area,
yeah. I mean, you can
and
always ask.
yeah,
Oh, you mean like Gimmer and stuff in terms of restreaming, like when you used to restream tournaments?
right, right,
Oh,
right.
okay.
That's
Yeah, yeah,
big because I wouldn't go to tournaments for a long time because I was streaming. Excuse me. I was streaming because I couldn't afford to go.
yeah, yeah,
So yeah, so I was like streaming from home, watching it. If they like my commentary more, then they'd watch my shit, and yeah, so but I was cool with like fucking everyone. I want to say like fucking
yeah,
90,
for
yeah,
sure.
90%. And I don't know. So even Summit, and so I hope it's the same a little bit if I get back onto it.
Dude,
Not that I'm.
it for sure will be. It's kind of like when you haven't seen your friends in a while, and you're like, these guys still
Yeah,
fuck with me.
yeah.
Like, am I still
I
cool? And
dude,
then
I miss, dude. I miss all of them.
yeah,
I yeah, dude. Gimmer, I miss fucking Robin, all of them. Like, and I'm kind of like, started streaming. I'm playing other games just for fun, but I'm like, oh man, melee streaming, restreaming, whatever. Like, I
Yeah.
don't want to dismiss them, but I love it.
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
when you and Mango used to do that countdown stream for Summit as well, that was people loved that.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure, absolutely. They love that shit.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and yeah, slime. Slime, the whole story. I thought he was so funny, dude. And I watched his videos on YouTube, and then he started getting popping off. He started popping off like super.
Hmm.
And and then one of the summit staff started watching, and they were like, dude, yeah, no, he's good, yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
And I was like, fuck yeah, I vouch for this motherfucker. That's why I'm watching him.
Yeah. Yeah, and he
And
he really like made a push for that career himself as well. Like he's a real go-getter.
oh,
He wanted to be
absolutely,
involved in Summit, so he was like, "Well, I'm just gonna, not just
keep going.
pretend to show up." But he'd already done slime on the scene at other places, and he was like, "What about slime on the scene at some?" Like it was the next logical step, because Summit was the next major coming up, and so
Oh yeah,
he'd already done like Big House, and then I think Evo or something, and so it was like, well, I'm gonna go to Summit to do this, and he asked him if he could do it in advance, but he like kind of snuck in, and it's a bit of a
mhm,
metaphor for how he's been like and the kind of guy he is. Like he finds a way to get where he wants to be, and he's so good
mhm.
at what he does that people just are always gonna fuck with that. If you got someone who's
No, I
showing up
know.
and just like making your event more poppin', more fun, better, funnier.
Adding to.
Yeah, exactly. You're gonna be like, of course this guy can stay. Like, get this guy a chair.
Hmm. Yeah, and I was like, dude, slime's fucking funny. I remember asking one of my friends, Norwalk friends, I was like, hey, what do you think about slime? Do you think it's funny or like, like Joe Pesci is? I was kind of like, do you think it's funny? Like, and then I was like, you vouch for him, and they're like, yeah, yeah, I think he's funny. I was like, all right, fuck yeah. I was like, I super vouch, and I was like, yeah, I'm all in, basically. And dude, yeah, no, I think he's great. He's funny, and
Yeah.
it's just that kind of deal. And then all of a sudden, Ludwig comes in,
Mm.
guns blazing, and I was like, this motherfucker's got to be an actor.
Yeah. Yeah. For real. I remember the
Yeah,
roast of Hugo. I think that was the big turning point for Lud, where it was like he was just like Scar was there, and like all these melee personalities were there, but like he was clearly the standout of that whole thing. Like he just
yeah,
destroyed that whole like rocked the mic so hard, and I think I watched the stream the next day, and he must have gone from like I think his stream like doubled overnight off that. Like from
oh,
from
oh,
there on,
oh.
like the growth was just like that was one of the big turning points, I think.
Mm,
And now he's one of the biggest streamers on the platform, nearly.
right.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's crazy to think about all of these people that I just met like at an in and out shooting the shit are now like almost all famous or doing what they want to be doing, which is so good, man. It's so sick to see so many people you used to just carpool with and shit succeed.
Right. Exactly.
Mm.
Um, yeah. I don't know. Does Ludwig even play melee?
Yeah, I mean,
Any
he used to like when he stayed at our house. I don't know if he still does,
right.
but I think he still really likes the game.
Part of the house too, right?
No, so he lived in Arizona, but whenever all of the Arizona boys would come up, he would stay, and he eventually moved to SoCal from AZ once he graduated,
Mm-hmm.
and he just worked at he worked at Snapchat, and then he worked at like a Best Buy and stuff. But he lived kind of nearby us.
Mm.
Like he would drive
Okay.
over and stuff on the weekends and stay.
Like that. I thought he was in that like area.
Yeah, he was relatively close by, I think. But yeah,
Mm.
he just like moved into. Same with Anthony. Like Anthony moved to LA with the goal of being a writer, like a screenwriter, and he's in a roundabout way already got there. I don't think he would have thought it would have included esports in the beginning, but those are kind of his two passions merging. So yeah,
Yeah. Hmm.
And what, like, of course, with you like taking a break from drinking and stuff, does that make it harder to connect with all of those people that you used to see? Because I'm sure, like, if they're all like hanging out, getting wasted and stuff, that's not really maybe your scene anymore.
Right. I have a hard time in a sense where I don't want people to believe I'm not the same me.
Yeah,
I'm still me, right.
yeah,
So like, so I'm not icing out anybody, but like, yeah. And the hard part is like this might affect other people when I say stuff like that. Like I could be like, hey, yeah, Mango, or hey, Joey, or hey, Johnny, I'm not drinking anymore. Like,
yeah.
I'm taking a break. So, it's not saying me, but it's gonna maybe affect their audience, their people, everything. Like, so I don't know. It's like always a touchy subject. It feels like,
Yeah,
but that's now like,
yeah, for real.
like, okay, yeah. I
It's like
was
a bit
like,
of a
okay,
change of identity almost. It's like I'm still the
yeah.
same
So
guy I
that's why
always was, but like I just can't keep
yeah,
pretending that this isn't like really bad for my body.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And I don't know if like even maybe they're okay with taking that realization.
People don't want to hear
And
it. Yeah, exactly, bro. That's another aspect.
I don't know if they're taking that. Yeah, like it's like I or else I die. Like
Yeah,
it's like,
like real shit.
yeah, so it's some real shit. Like, and I don't know, I don't know if I want to spiel out this real shit to them because it's gonna affect them. But it's like this is reality.
It
Like
harshes the vibe though. It's like you,
it does, and
yeah,
they're like, okay, I can't have Alex anymore because it's gonna hurt my stream or whatever or whoever. And like I'm kind of like, fuck, that's what's going on, dude.
yeah.
Like,
And it sucks. It
I
has
don't
to
know.
come down to that too. It's like,
Yeah, it's not their fault. Like it's not their fault. It's just my own. Like it's straight up like I had to cut it to that. Like you
yeah,
know. So I'm not too sure. Not too sure, but I don't want to affect their own streams or anything.
yeah.
Uh,
And I mean, it's weird that friendships, especially with Twitch, have merged into this thing where it's like even just hanging out is monetized to the point where like you don't want to harsh like their viewership just by maybe being
Same.
like, hey, I'm the same guy and I'm just chilling, but now like I can't drink because it might kill me. Like,
I definitely do have my. They're all good. They're all really good to me. They're all
oh, for
super
sure.
super great. So I love them beyond, and it's not their fault. Obviously, it's
Yeah.
my fault. Like, and I don't know. Like, it's trying to figure out. This is all weird. It's like fucking kind of like yeah, throwing in your face a little bit, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh shit,
Yeah.
I didn't even know I was gonna run into this. Like, but let's figure this out. And they're super great. So don't put that on
Oh no,
them.
no, no, not at all. But it's interesting how like and it's just a phenomenon that happens with all friend groups. Like when you have something that you all do together, or something that like it's almost like an identity of like this. Like we hang out, we do this, we play melee. Like
Sure.
when one person suddenly can't fit into that, it is a bit jarring. Like I think we all had that friend, and it's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it's
Absolutely.
it's like have you had that thing where it's like changed your identity a bit? You feel like this whole illness and now coming back after it. Like do you see life differently?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, like okay, so like let's say for example, I came back, excuse me. Come back, family are like, "Oh, you're a pro video gamer, right?" And I'm like, "Okay, but I'm trying to wean off of it for a bit, right?"
Yeah.
And everyone's like, "You're the pro video gamer." I'm like, "Not really." Like not really. I'm not that good anymore at all or whatever.
Yeah.
people are just like expecting, like, oh, say, yeah, oh, my nephew likes video games.
Yeah.
He's super good at video games. Do you know your channel? What's your channel? I'm like, oh
Because
my god,
they like they hear about like some ninja shit.
exactly.
Yeah.
All right, what, you're gonna YouTube Alex19 and see some kind of like chugging 40s? I'm like, oh, okay, this isn't good. I'm telling him no. Like, I don't know. It's rough. So I kind of took a hiatus in a way. Yeah, maybe it's not the right time to look at me.
Yeah, it's like an alter Melee is like this thing where it's like an alter ego almost, and it's like, oh, that's Alex19 YouTube, and you're like at a family event, and you're like, I don't want to be Alex19, I just want to be Alex.
Yeah, I had an aunt looking at me a certain way, and I was like, oh, well, fuck. I'm
Shit.
sorry. Like, I shouldn't have done that. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's my persona at this point online. I'm like, how do I fix that? I'm sorry. How do I explain?
Yeah.
So it's kind of interesting if you put in that. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
And
like
so,
my parents used to listen to the podcast, and I'm telling stories about like how I'm in Colorado, don't have a ticket home, I'm blackout drunk in a forest, like it's snowing and shit, I'm on a broken leg. Like, so, like my Colorado journey was like I threw up on I hadn't thrown up from drinking in like a year and a half. And this bartender was serving me and my buddy free shots, and we were playing Street Fighter, and we were playing best of threes to take a shot, and I must have lost like 4 games in a row or something. Like I was getting shit on, and we were already wasted. So I'm on a broken foot because I slipped in the stairs in our house. So I got crutches, and like Johnny's trying to fight me in the car park after we're leaving and stuff. I'm like poking him with my crutches. We go back to this house, and like all the liquor hits me at once, and I'm like blackout drunk in this house. I'm not blackout drunk. I do remember it. I remember like quite a lot of parts of it, but I'm bugging Anthony. I'm like, Anthony, wake me up. I need to charge my phone because my phone was dead. I had to get back to no, Anthony wasn't there. It was Scott, our friend Scott.
okay.
And I'm like, you gotta let me charge my phone so I can call an Uber so I can get to the airport. And because Anthony's straight edge, right? I know that as soon as I find Anthony, I'll be fine because he'll know where we're going and shit. Like he's like my totem pole when I'm at an event. Like I know as soon as I find him, like we're gonna get to where we need to go. So
Right.
I'm on crutches. I threw up on my top. I have to wear a tank top. That's all I have in my bag. It's snowing and shit. So I get to the airport and I'm there really early because I just didn't want to fall asleep because I know if I fall asleep, I'm not gonna make it. Like if I close my eyes at all, I'm fucked. So I'm at the airport. I'm on these crutches in this tank top, like in like 0-degree weather or whatever, like it's freezing. And I ask every single flight attendant, like booth, do you have a Miles Dobney on a 9 o'clock flight back to California? Because I didn't know which airline I was flying with. Because I didn't know which, and like the second last one I asked, they printed my boarding pass for me, and then I could go through security and stuff. And I saw Anthony at the lounge. And I was like, fuck, I made it, dude. But I was telling that story on the podcast, and my parents listened to the show. So, like, all of these stories about, like, how fucked up my life was at that point, like, all of these crazy shit I'm doing. And they like, listen to it all. So it's, like, this weird crossover of, like, you don't want to ever stop being real and, like, telling real-life experiences. But at the same time, it's like, shit. My mom listens to this.
Yeah, no, exactly. When I chugged the 40, for example, like I chugged the 40 and whatever, I show up to a family party and they were like looking at me just different. I was like, oh shit. Like, I was like, okay. And they're like, so, you chugged the 40. And I was like, oh, fuck, everybody knows. Like,
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't want my nephew, my niece, anyone to look at this, and I'm just like, how do I undo what you've seen? Like, I don't know. It's not, and honestly, in my opinion, I'm like, I don't regret that. Like,
no,
yeah, sure, I didn't have the repercussions or anything, but I was kind of like, that was right for my moment. Whatever, it was fine, but like, okay, like, like time to fix it. Oh, whatever. It's what it is.
And
like that's it.
the other thing that's tough is like we aren't characters, like we are people, and a lot of people would come up to me at tournaments and they listen to the podcast or whatever, and they're like, oh, like they're like telling me stories that I've told and stuff, and they're like, hey, you want to do like XYZ? And I'm like, no, I'm just chilling right now, you know, like I do want to do that, and that is something I would probably do, but like
Yeah,
it's
you know, you're aware.
it's hard for people to like we're having this conversation now that's very much real talk. I'm sure, like, you know, if you're in better health, that chugging and just playing melee and talking absolute trash and just hanging out like that's something you fuck with as well. Like, you know, like it's not just one or the other, you know. There's like the Alex that exists now and there's the Alex that exists before, and it's like largely the same person, right?
Yeah, yeah, no, and there's a semi like in the middle where it's like, okay, do I want to go get hamburgers? And I could, and yeah,
Yeah.
like okay. So I always think about that one, and you know, there's always a fact that it's like, okay, am I going to traumatize the people that I affected? Let's say my girlfriend or family, the
Yeah.
people that are affected by what was the initial reaction, and I'm like it's a lot of like a lot of bullshit in between, and I think it's fine and fun, whatever. I don't regret what I did, but it's also like, all right, time to buckle up.
Sometimes you got to throw in the towel and say like that was cool, but it's time to move on.
Oh, absolutely, and you know, and that's why I'm like, I have my certain friend group, and I love my friends. That it's confusing in moments. You're like, kind of like, all right, I like people that treat me normal. I would say it's like, do you want a beer? And I'm like, oh yeah, absolutely. You know, like they treat you normal, and people that are kind of like, oh, he can't have one. Oh, no, nothing. Like, oh, and I'm kind of like, all right, I didn't say shit, but
Yeah, whatever.
yeah, whatever, or whatever, it's fine.
Yeah. And it is kind of whatever.
It is.
It's really such a small thing. It's like whether you have a certain amount of this one substance or not, like that doesn't change your personality like at all, really.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and
I, I'm still me. Like, you
it's
want to scrap? You want to scrap? I'm gonna go.
it's
Like,
it's funny
game
because
time.
melee is kind of the same. It's like, do I go hamburgers and like throw my life at this game again? That's probably going to give me nothing in return. Like it,
Right.
melee is like the least lucrative thing to be doing with your time, but it's like at the same time, it's like it's kind of fun. Like I kind of want to.
Icing. I don't know why I'm like stuck on this game. I don't know, but it's like
There's something
okay,
about it, man.
yeah, dude, for real. Think about it. I don't know. It's kind of trippy. It's like you can't. I don't know. I can't see myself letting go of the game. Like,
Mm, me too, man.
can you?
It just feels like there's so much unfinished business. There's so much more melee to play. Like there's so many more matches to play. I'm sure you feel like you haven't fully expressed how good you are, like almost ever. I feel like you've been way better in friendlies than I've almost ever seen you play tournament. You've had some good tournaments, but I feel like you probably want to play more too.
Yeah, friendly me. I know I've talked to Mango even because he's been
He's seen it.
ranked before number one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's like, I feel like you're there, and I'm like, oh fuck, I want to keep going, like, and I'm like, I know, but I'm like, okay, life's going on or whatever, or we
Yeah.
bullshit around too much, like,
And
like,
he would never lie either. He would never say that shit if it wasn't true.
oh, dude, oh, Mango's not like that. He's not a liar. He's definitely not a liar. He will say his shit.
Yeah.
So
For real.
that's why I'm like, and not just because of that, but I'm kind of like, fuck, dude, I feel it too. Like I know.
Yeah.
And Joey randomly fucking told me one day, he's like, yeah, dude, I had a dream, and he's like, I saw you beating fucking Mango in tournament, and I was like, fuck. But it's interesting. That's all. This is all like just random shit.
And it's such a sick like character. That would be such a sick character arc as well. Like after all of these years to come back and be like, I think the beautiful thing about melee is like for me at least, it's changed me a lot as a person, and like my identity in the game and out of the game has changed over so many years. And like I mean, you started playing this game as a kid, and now obviously like neither of us are kids anymore. But it's like I don't know. I still want to play, and I feel like the age only makes you better at Melee. I really think that.
Yeah,
The experience.
definitely. I played Zach. His name's like Primetime Z, and I play him. He's grinding. He's taking tips from like Kalindi and stuff, and like I haven't touched the fucking controller in like a month. And then all of a sudden, it's like,
yeah, that's
for
just
a minute. Not necessarily him only, like multiple, you know? And I don't know. There's like a niche. Like, there's definitely a niche. And I feel like I could do it. Like, it's always that little instant climb. Like, you want to, okay, next step. Oh, okay, next step. And
it gives you a purpose.
Right. Without it, during this whole fucking Corona shit, I'm kind of like, all right, what do I do?
Yeah, for real. That's how I feel like my life is in general at the moment. And like without Melee involved, it's like I feel like I'm just I'm waiting. I don't know what I'm waiting for, but
exactly. And I think you're right. And when I met you, I was like, okay, this man's purpose is his poker game. Like
that was my purpose, yeah.
Well, I don't know if it's still currently, but I feel like I see it, and I'm kind of like, dude, go for it.
Well, they basically when online poker got banned, that's why I started playing a lot more Melee.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so that got banned, and that fucked me out of that. Basically, you can play at casinos here, but the fees at casinos are so high that it's almost not worth it.
Oh fuck! I didn't know that.
Yeah, so in America, like card rooms charge a way lower, like percentage of the pot per hand, which is actually like a beatable game. But once you increase that number, the game basically becomes unbeatable, right? Like if they're taking too big of a piece, that's like in a game where like the idea is to win 60% of the time, you know, and that's like a pretty good win rate, you know, like if they start taking percentages out of that, it gets really bad, you know. So
oh shit.
So like I was playing Melee casually with friends, and we would just play once a week or something, and then poker got taken away essentially by the government, and that's what I was like fully focused on, fully committed to. And then I was, you know, looking for something to do, and I started watching more Melee, started playing more Melee. Oh, maybe there's tournaments for this. And suddenly like I'm beating all my friends and they don't really want to play anymore. And so I meet with the whole community and stuff, you know. And then it just goes from there. But I actually, you know, Melee wasn't the thing that I started out with. It was kind of like a competitive outlet once poker got taken away. But now I kind of play both. Like, ironically, like I'm starting to play a bit more poker again at like live games.
Mm-hmm.
But there's something about Melee, man. Playing with good people is so much fun. Like a night just goes by and it's like you're there, man. You're invested.
Yeah, that's what's I wouldn't call it annoying. It's like a blessing in disguise. But I played, you know, with people that were less better than me, and then I played with like people, and then before I know it, 6 hours came by.
Yeah, for real.
I was like, oh shit, like, I need to switch game, or I need to like end stream. And I was kind of like tired of it, and I was like, I planned on streaming whatever the fuck else, but I don't know. I do have fun with it. It's always let's say we're playing, right, and we play one. I beat you, and you felt like you could have beat me last stock, last hit, and then that turns into game 2, and then you beat me. And then all of a sudden, it's just a giant mess.
Yeah.
It's like, it's all of a sudden, it's like, well, it's you got lucky in the first match.
Yeah, it's like life and death all of a sudden.
And and we're like, oh, yeah. And then, or it could be some dude being like, oh, well, yeah, I wasn't trying that stock. It's just like, it's like somebody like, oh, you got lucky, I wasn't paying attention, and then it's just like a giant conundrum.
Do you remember, like,
But
I'm sure this happened more back in the day, and it happened a lot more before net play for us too in Australia, but when someone flies in from out of state and you got them at a house somewhere, and like whether it's
hmm
you or whether it's like Mango or whatever playing this person, you're like
hmm
playing, like you're playing friendlies, but the session is like almost to see like how good they are
yeah,
maybe, and then you're going to extrapolate that into like how good their whole region is because they beat like X, Y, and Z player. And so it's like
yeah,
suddenly this friendly session that's like just this out of state guy and like you or your
trying to
homie
stay
is like,
weird.
oh shit, like everyone's scoping it like, oh,
I'm
is
the best in that state.
yeah, I'm better than like everyone's watching those friendlies and it's like, oh shit, like is this going to set the tone for the tournament? Like what's going to happen?
Yeah, yeah. So something like that did happen to me when I went to Texas. I'll never forget. I went to Texas. It's brand new. I played with Mango. I wasn't good, but I had technical like abilities. I was pretty sick technically,
Yeah.
and then I moved to San Antonio, and I would drive, dude. I would drive. I'd go wherever, and they seated me. They used to use Neo or something like that. It was like a tournament organizer thing, and or Tio, I
Yeah,
think, and
TIO, yeah.
yeah, and so like, and I was like, I got behind the desk, and I was like I didn't know what seating was at the moment. I was like, what is this? And like they're like, oh yeah, yeah, like it's like what your probability is to be ranked up, and I was like, oh, I was like, what am I seated? And they're like, oh, well, you just used to be Mango's friend, right? And I was like, yeah. And they were like, oh yeah, I think we seated you like number one. And I was like, what the? I was like, and I played some dude, and I wasn't that good. Like I was not that good. I had just because I have technical ability
This was
doesn't
like
mean I'm
10
good.
years ago or something.
Yeah, no, this was. Well, let's see. Yeah, it was like 10 years ago now on the button, and I played some dude, and his name was Sethlon. I don't know if you
Oh
know.
shit.
And so he fucking countered my ass Roy on FD and just obliterated my shit. And I was like, I didn't know Fox could lose to Roy. Like, I had no idea. Like, I don't know. So I lost to him. And then I played another dude who's a Fox, like dual main. Shout outs to dual mains. I feel like that's the meta. And then he dual mained my ass and beat me on Corneria. And I was like, fuck. Like, I didn't know any of this, like, to me.
Yeah.
But it's surprising. And yeah, I was seated insanely high. And it, it just kind of like murdered me instantaneously. Like, I didn't play. So basically, like, yeah, I didn't play a match. I didn't have warm up matches. I just showed up and
Oh yeah.
oh,
Yeah,
yeah, I
yeah.
just showed up. I was like, oh, ruined, and I was kind of like, well, fuck, like,
That was your first time ever having like knowing what the seating was or like having the expectation of like, oh, maybe I'm the
I didn't know
best.
about seating.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. In seating wise, in tournament, and I was like, oh, oh. I was like, well, I don't think I'm the best. And they were like, oh, yeah, they're all ready to beat my ass. And I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
God.
Yeah, because even it's crazy how even at that time, like beating someone Mango was friends with, like someone Mango played melee with for like
hmm
they probably don't know how much you guys played together, but like that idea that like you had
Yeah,
come up in the same even like state almost like obviously being friends is different, but like people almost SoCal is like Mango, and then anyone who's even associated to that is like on that level. They, from these out of state players, they think
right.
like this guy must be way better than us if he's ever played friendlies with Mango.
Yeah, no, those people hella good.
Yeah,
Cephalon, for example, like he is super really good, and I got along with him. Like
yeah.
I got along with it. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, your Roy is better than like Zane's Roy for sure, dude. He's got a sick Roy, and I'm like, okay, people are praising Zane's Roy, which is good, yes, for sure, whatever. But I was like, when I played him too, I remember I was like, just fucking his main was Roy, and he would focus on that all the time. And he knew when I was like, okay, let's go FD. Dude, he chuckled kind of like that. And I was like, he just absolutely decimated me. And I was like, I wonder, I would love to see Zayn versus
Sethlon?
Sethlon's Roy. Just I'm not saying either one's better. I'm just curious.
Yeah, you seen the Zayn VODs? You watch all of those from that one tournament?
No, actually, it did not.
The Roy VODs. It was pretty crazy stuff, man. It really, he really outplayed him.
He would. I did see what? Let's see. I saw some of him versus Ginger and some of him versus KJH, and what it looked like was mostly like, you know how the dash dance grab game kind of like deal with Roy or fucking Marth? He did that, but also switched it up with like forward smash and like grabs, and it was ruining them. And I was kind of like, okay, like he keeps getting you with the same shit overall, and I get it. I was like, I hate Mark too. Trust me. I was like, it's not you. It's like just it's very very convincing that you're gonna get a down air drill, but it does not happen.
You never get it, yeah.
You never quite get it, and he was doing that to a very very minuscule, like not minuscule, very micro like timing and spacing, and I was like, he did a great job. He did a good job. He did a great job, and he was improvising with the down tilt. I'm sorry, and so I'm like, yeah. There's no taking away from his victory. It was great.
Leffen made a good tweet about that though, where he was like, "Is Zayn really this much better than all of us with this low tier, or is Marth's dash dance, Marth's grab?" Is that just enough? Like, does that actually make the character good? Like, that's what he was saying.
No. I feel like what you look at Mango, Big House, and Zayn made a video not too long ago about it.
The most recent Mango victory over Zayn. Fuck, that was that was such a good tournament.
Right, exactly. But what I'm saying is like, we look at Zayn. Zayn's prodigy, amazing, good. He's like fucking killing it, right?
Feels like he's a new Mutu King, like better, stronger neutral, also insane punish game, you know?
Creativity, everything. And Mango's like seasoned. He's been here for a long time. And in those interactions, are you familiar with the DC or... There's like a punish term. It's like when you forward smash with Falco, you hit somebody's shield, right?
Yeah.
It's like they shield grab immediately. It's like, nope. And they call you out and they do another forward smash. And Mango was basically just outplaying him in that sense. It felt like he was kind of like calling him out on all his little bullshit, like tournament nerves or
yeah.
Yeah, he was just kind of like, okay, you think I'm gonna double laser and completely fully commit, or am I gonna fade back and then you're gonna grab or whatever? And then
he's not scared to play that who flinches first game.
Exactly. Exactly that. And Mango just kind of like destroyed him in that. It was close because punish is huge. Like, you get a grab with Marth, it's like, okay, I can fucking end you right now.
Yeah.
But Mango outdid him. And then, so, I don't know, the video came out and I was kind of like looking at it. I was like, yeah, during the match set, like, it was an amazing set. Like, but I could see there's a gap. There's a big gap in skill and experience. And I could see it. I was like, can anyone see it?
Yeah, like Mango even commented on it. He said he's like, Zayn is really, really good at the game, but
he's amazing.
He hasn't been here enough times. Like he's like,
sure.
When it comes to the clutch or when it comes to the moment, Mango is like, I still have the edge on him because I've been here too many times.
He's been there 10 years, 12 years, or something. I'm not like
finals.
Right, and I'm not just like saying Mango's better. Like, I'm not saying Mango's better.
He's just more clutch.
I'm not. He's been there. He's been there like 10 years in a row.
Yeah.
He's been there. He's experienced it. And I'm like,
taking all the losses.
Yeah, like it takes a while. It takes a while to experience it. Like, and I kind of like resonate with this in like soccer or something. Like, and I'm like, yeah, I've been in that situation. I know now what to do. Like, but I don't think Zane has, even though what's unfortunate is like the payout in Melee is like scrubby. And like you're kind of you've done it. Zane's done it. What now? 5 years, 4 years, and
I mean the fame is what hopefully carries you. Hopefully you can spin it into a personality and start a stream.
Sure,
and,
exactly.
That's what's going to carry you.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's true. That's true because or else
the prize money is not going to do it.
Exactly.
But, just getting clutched on like that. It's so funny because Zane's probably thinking, well, I don't know, maybe he's not thinking this. Maybe this is just my scrubby mentality. But, you know when you're close to winning and you have that thought, like after he won the first set at Big House, he's got to be thinking like, ooh, it'd be pretty cool to win a major. Only done that once before. Or like...
Oh, like, right, nearing
you get close. You know, you win the one set and you're like, just got to do that again, then I win a major. And Mango's probably just thinking, wouldn't it be funny if I just like reverse clutched on this guy? Like, wouldn't it be really funny? Like... That's
maybe
almost, he's probably not thinking like, oh, I'm gonna lose or this and that. He's like, all right, let's play again and see what happens, man. Let's just...
Yeah, I can't get into that head of like thought process, obviously, but I think Zane is pretty well based on his tweet. He said he was like, I'm gonna be the winner. I'm not satisfied on that. So he's expressing his thought process right there, right? But you're not wrong. I feel like he could be totally thinking, oh shit, I'm about to win this shit.
That's like, the product of having been there more times. Like, you're just not...
Right,
exactly. Even subconsciously, it's not as big of a deal.
You stop scrubbing it. You stop being scrubbed.
I'm waiting for that
moment. It could have happened. It could have happened. It could have happened already. Like, but I don't know. I'm just wondering too. But Zane's amazing.
One day a switch will flip though, and he'll stop being the little brother. Who knows when that is? But at the moment, he's still the little brother a little bit. I think Leffen overcame that, and now he's just one of those players who can, pull it out on any given day. Like, it feels like.
Oh, Leffen?
Yeah. Like he went through that period of being the little brother, and now he's like well ascended above.
He's been there, dude. Leffen's good. He's like pretty much established. Like, I wouldn't say like you. I don't know if we're on the same page, but I'm saying like he knows mentally too.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah,
he's good. You could be there technical wise or whatever. Like, but it's like playing with. So, for example, like, do you guys remember seeing like Johnny versus Joey?
Yeah.
Lucky versus S2J all the time.
Classic.
They keep getting there. And then you see West Balls. You see West Balls, and he gets there, and here he's in and out. He's like, he comes in, he loses to whatever. That's the mental part.
Yeah, I think Wes is completely gone the other way. I mean, I haven't spoken to Wes since I moved back home, but it seems to me like he went from being in that top player zone where he sees himself like that and everyone else sees him like that too, to I don't know when his confidence started getting rocky or what happened. I think some stuff happened in his personal life or whatever. But
he got rattled. He had to have gotten rattled, I would say. He got rattled a few times and then he was kind of confused, and that happened to me many times when I was like, okay, when I beat I had a crazy streak, and then I was like losing. I was like, "Fuck, I'm losing to a fucking Curve or someone."
Losing to these guys at a local, like, who is this guy?
Yeah, and exactly. I like one of my first ones was Griffin, and I was kind of like, "What the fuck is going on?" I was like, "I'm better than this guy," but it's like humbling yourself, like knowing stability, but I think Westball's lost that. he's crazy technical, like, and has a good like B game.
Yeah.
I would say,
and that never goes away. Like that level of
that
play,
won't go away.
Yeah,
That's where he can probably like disappear for like maybe 3 months, come back and be like, yeah, I think I could still fuck you up. And for me too, like I stopped playing the game, I come back and I'm like, I think I could still beat you. And then it's like, but that's not the fucking main issue. That's not the big, like, that's not the resolution.
Knowing that you can mentally beat somebody, no matter how good they go on to get, like, you know, if you like, you've been around SoCal for long enough, like you've played a lot of SoCal Melee, and I think Wes at least would say the same thing to the death about playing locals in SoCal. I think maybe nationals are a different thing. Maybe it's easier to be rattled at nationals, but when you're in your own region and you look at a guy and you're like, I can beat this guy. And I know that for a fact. I don't think that level. I think when it comes to SoCal, Wes will know that like he can always be like one of the kings of the region. And I don't think in his brain that'll ever change. But I think once you start going to nationals and there's people who are doing all kinds of different shit, if you're not really on your A game at that point, then it's pretty easy to just suddenly you start coming 65th a lot. Or, you know, that kind of thing. But at least locally, I know that the pride will never die, because it's the same for me. Like, I believe in my heart that I can beat every player in this region anytime. Like,
yeah, we played once, right?
Yeah, you and me played at.
You beat me, right?
Yeah, I beat you at Power 9. I was really stoked on that, actually. And then we were like taking shots afterwards and stuff and hanging out.
Right. And, I do remember that, and I was kind of like, in my head, I was thinking, I should have beat him. Like,
it was really close.
I could have beat him. Yeah. In my head, though, I'm like, no, like, I could have beat him. Like, I should have beat him. And I was like disappointed. But I was genuine. I was super happy for you, dude. Like, no lie. But like I was like disappointed in myself. Yeah. I was disappointed in myself, but I was super happy for you. And I was thinking about it, and I was like, he wanted it more. Like,
I wanted it so much at that point in my life, and I think you were it was just another Thursday night for you, man. Like, you were just showing off.
I can't remember that part, but I do remember I was like, he earned it. Like, and that was it. That's what I remember.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about that after the tournament, and I was like, okay, who did I lose to? Why did I lose to who I lost to? And I was thinking about it, and I was like, no, he earned it. He beat me. But I was like, fuck, my B game, my neutral crap was not good enough, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it was just not enough, and he wanted it more.
Yeah.
And then that was actually very, very mentally good for me, I felt like. And I was kind of like understanding it. So you see, so in that time, I would say I was a little more experienced than you,
much more, yeah.
better, right?
You're probably
at the time,
better player at the time too, yeah.
Right. So I was kind of like comprehending. I was learning. I was like, yeah. So you're still learning at a higher level,
dude. Always.
You know what like, that's what I was like. Okay, yeah. This game is deep.
If you stop learning, it's over. Like, even Mango says, I was watching his stream recently, and he still, you know, he'll get real drunk on stream and talk about how he just wants to win another championship, you know, and like
kind of binges and shit. Yeah,
he's like all the money, like all that shit. Like, it's cool.
Doesn't matter.
But all I want to do is just win again. And I think at his core as a human being, I think Melee is so such a part of him, and winning is such a part of that. That, you know, if he was to have like this empire of stream wealth and all of that, I think for him that there'd still be this void of like, that's not the same Mango that's like a champion of this game. Like, at the end of the day, that's like a big part of his identity, I'd say, and like it's something that he really cares about and wants to do.
He's you know, I've always thought about this, and I always want to. I don't know. I don't know if I'm fine saying this or whatever, but he's the kid. You can take this how you want. He's the kid. He's a kid, as in he's a kid, and he's also like a prodigy. He's smart. He sees it. Like,
yeah, he sees it.
he's a very, very like super smart dude, but he's a kid. He's the kid, not a kid. He's the kid. Like,
Yeah.
he gets it. He gets it. So I really appreciate Mango in very many ways.
Yeah.
And one day I told him, I was like, Mango, one day you're gonna have to get a job, dude. I told him that, and he's like, no, I'm not. And I was like, okay. I was like, one day you'll see. This was like, I'm talking about like fucking 12, 10 years ago.
Yeah, before any of this shit was big.
Yeah, anything. And has he got like the job? Like we were both referring to the getting a 9 to 5 job, whatever. Yeah. And this motherfucker proved me wrong. Like, he makes it happen.
He makes it happen. Yeah, over and over and over.
Exactly my point. Like, his desire, his ambition is insane.
Yeah.
So I think it's amazing. I think it's absolutely intense. I don't know if it's ever going to be bad, but I'm just kind of like, you keep surprising me, so keep going. I can never say anything about it. And
it doesn't play by the same rules as the rest of us. That idea of like, oh, you're going to have to get a job one day, he's like, I don't play that.
He's like, nope, and
nope.
Figured it out. And I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah.
He figured it out. Like, so I'm kind of like, yeah.
And he was talking about his like resetting his mentality, and he was saying like, oh, this time, like, this is when he was losing a bunch, and he was like, I got to get back to winning. Basically, it's like, that's the end goal, is get back to winning. And it's like, how do I do that? And he was saying, this time I got to take a piece of like humble pie and like go back to learning. He's like, I got to check that ego of mine a little bit, because he's like, when you're losing, you can't afford that. And he was like, I'm going to check that back down and go back to learning a little bit. And he's playing friendlies with these people, and he's like, ooh, that's new. I'm going to take that. He's still gaining. He's taking stuff from them, and he's pointing it out. He's like, for someone who is so cocky and like so...
he's humble about it.
He's so humble, and he's so ready to take something out of somebody else's game, even if they're worse than him. He'll see one little thing, and he'll be like, oh, that's good.
Yeah.
And, a lot of people...
That's why...
I'm sorry, go ahead. A lot of people think they're too good to do that, but he's like very humble in that way.
No, Mango's not. I would say Mango's not. You want to give you? I'm going to give you an example about this or that whole scenario. It's like, that's the Joey, that's the Johnny, that's the Alex.
To get too arrogant about a situation.
Move. Whatever. He recognizes no like certain moves, shine spike, or shine at a shield wave, that whatever. He's like, that's a Johnny. Like, he acknowledges it in that moment. Like, he's very, very keen on that interaction. And like, yeah, because if not, you could be like, oh, that's mine.
That's the Mango.
That's the Mango. Like, and which he does
as a joke, but he knows,
obviously,
that
he knows. He acknowledges it all the time. And I'm kind of like always impressed. I was like, okay, yeah. Oh shit, you remember that? Yeah. I was kind of like, fuck. But like, people don't. People wouldn't. Like, fucking, yeah.
It's amazing how he's able to go, okay, I've been the best in the world before. I'm not the best in the world now. I picked
this up from your ass.
Got a little bit, be a bit humble, grind back, like get that mentality back again, where it's like, I still have work to do.
Yeah,
and a lot of people get complacent.
Mm-hmm.
Like, a lot of people, there's a joke in our region, like, oh, who's going to be like, a lot of players like aim to be 10th on the state PR. And then once they hit that point, they're like, I remember when I used to have to grind. Now I'm like a veteran, like I'm this seasoned player. And it's like, no, dude, like we all still suck in the grand scheme of things. Like, let's keep improving.
Mm-hmm.
People are so quick to want to stop improving, like they got to their goal.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. No, that's totally a thing. Yeah.
Because it hurts. It hurts to have to take a look and say, like, I lost. Why?
Yeah. Yeah. No, absolutely. You're right. And it takes you bite the bullet. You're kind of like chill. You're like, well, fuck. I got no Johns.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, I got fucked. Like, what was my mistake? I'm trying to think. It's like, nope, I got nothing. And I had multiple, like, when I played at, random locals, and I was like, hey, you played me better. Like, you got me.
Yeah.
And, you know, and I can't be mad. Like, I want to be mad. It's like a conflict. You want to be mad because you didn't win.
You got to be a
That's
bit
like
mad.
Eagle side. Right. But then it's also like, all right. Not saying I'm just complacent, but you got to acknowledge the person outplayed you.
You got to accept it, yeah.
You got to realize, well, no, I wouldn't say accept. You got to actually understand this person did more than you.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, I shut the fuck up. Like, it's like, all right, you got me, and I need to realize, and I need to either better myself or, like, that's it. Like, that's it. I got to better myself, or I need to shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Be a, like, you know, that's about it. So that's kind of one of the feelings I had. I don't know if I lost a Ringler, but when I remember I lost to you, and I was kind of like, and you popped off, and I was very, very. I remember you popped off, and I was like, okay. Internally, I wanted to be mad. I was like, this motherfucker popped off on me, and then I was like, no, but I did prep. I was drinking before. I was whatever. I was not taking it serious. I was like, this is your fault, dude.
I was taking it so serious. I was fucking locked in, man. When that last back air hit, I was like, oh shit. Like, I remember there was like a final edge guard situation, and I was like, is he just dead now? Like, you know that feeling of like, do I just get to win?
I definitely tried. Just so you're.
No, I'm not. I know.
Yeah, but I was just saying. I was like, I wanted to be mad inside, but and then like that moment clicked, and I was like, he beat me. He just beat me. Like, what do I say? Like, I'm like, shut the fuck up, Alex. And then I was like, that was it.
And that's the beauty of Melee, is like whoever wins is the champ, and they just get to tell you shut the fuck up. And that's all that, like, right. And I think like watching West Balls with Lucky, I remember when Lucky came to Australia, he talked about this a lot. Like, those two were playing off for who was going to eat, basically, like who was going to win like what was the big monthly called?
BAM?
SSS.
Oh, before. In
SoCal, like he would play West, and like those two would just be like,
West,
they both
Johnny.
wanted it so bad. Everyone wanted it, like, because they were like, I need to win this shit. Like, winning SSS was like, well, I won the last 3 SSS, so that's just like the other guys have to shut up. Like, that just means, other than Mango, that you're the best if you won like 3 SSSs or whatever. And so like that level as well, I'm sure like West still has that. 100% he does. Because you don't get to that level without having that, right? I'm sure Lucky does as well, but like at some stage you take enough losses and it starts getting to you.
Yeah, those guys are psycho. They're gonna have that forever. They're never gonna lose that.
Dude. And they're gonna do that.
Are you kidding me? If Johnny were to lose to Wes in a friendly, or vice versa, he's gonna be like, I'm better than him. He's gonna just want to rip them apart.
Then they're just locked in, man. They just
yeah, pretty much. That's fucking funny. That's a good, that's basically, once you had it, you're gonna have it forever.
I think you can get knocked down a peg to the point where like you stop believing a little bit. Like maybe he has that with maybe Lucky has that with West, but does he have it with a Leffen or Armada? You know, like.
No, he's probably got that mental barrier. I would say he would probably have it with like Mewtwo King. He's probably gonna, because he beat him.
Because he knows he can do it. Once. Yeah. Once you beat him once. Yeah.
Right. It's obtainable. So he's gonna probably have that with him. But certain people, I think, and I could even say the same. Like, I have a mental block, I would say, against Joey or Mango. Like, you know, it feels impossible. And then I look at people like, let's say, IBDW, and I'm like, damn, you're able to beat Mango? Like, I'm like, and we could play a Ditto, and I would feel like I could beat IBDW, but I feel like I can't beat Mango.
Yeah,
you know,
for sure.
It's very, 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 like, it's mentally just difficult. I don't know. It's hard to say.
Because in his brain, it's like not as big of a deal. He's just like,
It's
yeah,
not.
I guess I beat Mango. Like,
And
that's a
for me, I'm thinking, yeah, absolutely. And I'm thinking it's a barrier. Like for me, I'm thinking like, fuck, man, this is a guy who trained me and shit. Like, I don't know, this is hard. I don't know, like, and I don't know, like I've known him for this long or whatever, like whatever it may be.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You make up a whole storyline in your head, and it's like, realistically, all you got to do is knock him off the stage 8 times and make sure he doesn't get back. That's all it is.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, I was like, yeah, okay, all it comes down to is, okay, I'll pummel him like fucking 8 times when I grab him, or just you know, the basics.
If you kill him 8 times before he kills you 8 times, you win. That's it.
That's straight up it. But it's fucking.
It's so much more than that.
It's so much more. Exactly.
And I think Mango has had that on so many people. Like, I've seen him play on a Saturday.
Dude.
The amount of sets.
That's his game.
The amount of sets.
Okay, you want to hear a better one? Yeah. Hungry Puck. That's his game. He just mind screws everyone. Like, he just completely. He laughs. He'll do whatever. He gets in your head. Like, that's it.
Yeah, and then he'll slow the game right down as well. And you're like, fuck this guy. I want to kill this guy. And then suddenly you're at the ledge and you're getting gimped again. And it's like the lead's getting bigger and bigger.
His pace.
Yeah.
So I get it, dude. Like, I understand, but I'm like, okay, is that proper etiquette? Is that normal or shitty? Or maybe shitty? I don't know. And then
Mango's kind of different because he can just sit there and not say a word and kids will just choke one after another. Like on a Saturday, literally, I pulls some random Falco from like Rhode Island or something will be giving Mango the hardest time on a Saturday. He'll be fucking him. He'll be wins the first game, nearly wins the second game, gets clutched on. Then it's like game 3, nail biter, and Mango like gimps him twice, like just gets it down air and it's over or whatever. They have so much to lose though, because once they take that first game, the kid who's playing Mango, like,
you're saying after the first
time after time after time, they like I see him win game 1 and just choke. Like Mango has had so many close sets off stream in the last 8 years, but he never loses.
All right. Hear this one. It's like, okay, I'm playing against fucking Shmee or whatever, and then I win the first game, right?
Yeah,
you're saying, and then I lose, and then I'm like, oh fuck, if I lose this shit
to this guy,
if I lose this is gonna look so bad. I'm gonna be so screwed, and into an internal struggle. Yeah. You're not actually just losing to fucking whatever I just said.
Joe Blow random,
yeah. You're losing to yourself. You're kind of like, fuck. Like, oh fuck, okay, my rep, my here, my this, my stream, whatever.
Man, it's once the ego starts getting called into question, once you start thinking,
and you're kind of like, fuck. So you asked me at the beginning of the stream, why haven't I streamed this much?
Dude,
that's part of it. Yeah, it is.
When you don't feel like you're the man, it's like, well, why would anyone watch? It's that feeling of like sometimes you second guess yourself, man.
Yeah, you're kind of like, who gives a shit? All right, so I'm like, all right, I'll play fucking other games, whatever. I'll play this or that or whatever. And I still give a shit. Like, I love stream. But it's also like, all right, let's say I stream, right? And I'm going to be like, hey, this stream might hurt me more long run. Or it could be beneficial. You know, it's like fucking Floyd Mayweather just picking his matches. Okay, all right. I'm going to pick something I know I'm going to win because it's going to benefit me.
But it's interesting, though, because from our point of view, it's like we still so much see ourselves as Melee players. And like those losses, we're like, how will people think of me as a player? Will people want to watch my stream? Whereas the fact is, people probably aren't watching us for our Melee gameplay, like either of us. Like it's because they like us.
Dude, you'd be surprised.
I think it's because... I think, man, people vibe with you, and that's why they check. Like most of the time, people aren't going to be like, "Oh, dude, Alex19 lost at a Texas local. Fuck, man, I don't know if I can watch the stream anymore, man. Like he lost to my friend. Like I don't think. I think people they like you for you, and in your brain, you're like, fuck, I need to be good at Melee. I'm the same. I just want to be
Okay.
like,
All right, let's pick somebody. Okay, let's say you or somebody, some fucking Joe Schmo, right?
yeah,
I'm not saying you're a Joe Schmo. I'm
I
just
pretty
saying
much
like
am, but
just runs in and has a crazy good run.
yeah,
Maybe has a Roy run kind of deal. Like they go in and win.
yeah.
That's just kind of like hype,
Oh
right?
yeah, yeah,
The difference, like Mango's been streaming for like a shitload of time, and he's good, and
he's
so
really
he
good.
has an established stream. But I'm just saying, like somebody, like you're saying, somebody's gonna watch you for who you are, right?
Yeah, I think
And
so.
okay, let's say right now I go in, I keep streaming. People like me for who I am, but if somebody else does it and they don't get to know you, like if you don't stream enough, like
Yeah, for sure. Consistency is huge on streaming. I agree.
right. See, yeah.
But like,
So
I don't think winning at Melee, like, unless you're really, really winning at Melee, like top 5, top 10, plays
mhm.
too much of a role. Like, I don't think people. What I'm trying to say is that whole ego thing of like when you're in the moment being like, how does this affect my rep? It's like people forget about results, man. It's like,
Oh, for them, yeah, for them,
it's like,
like Leffen streaming Dragon Ball Z, and he's still getting numbers.
oh yeah, but like even if Leffen was to come, say Leffen just becomes like a dumpster fire at Melee and comes like bad results for him for the rest of his career. People
Yeah,
just love Leffen and will continue to watch him. Like he could just like when you had one of the biggest Melee streams, I think that if you just kept that going, people would have like they fuck with that
yeah,
regardless of how like well you're
definitely
playing.
fucked up, but then almost died. But
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I mean, I'm not saying you made a mistake or anything. I'm saying like people, regardless of how good you are at Melee, people still vibe with it.
yeah, they like you.
Yeah.
They're in tune with you.
But
Yeah,
our competitor brain doesn't tell us that in that moment, though. It just tells us like, "Fuck, man, I gotta win. What if I lose to this guy?"
pretty much.
I don't think either the top players don't have that or they don't listen to it. Like, I don't know if Mango thinks when some random Joe Blow's about to beat him, like, this would be pretty
No, they
embarrassing.
don't listen. I'll give you the answer quick right there. They don't listen to it. You can't, or else you're convoluted. You're bugged out. You can't think about that stuff
Yeah,
when you're thinking
I don't
competitively.
know if they even have that thought, though, is what I'm saying.
They do, but they prevented it. They got rid of it. Like
Yeah,
they know how to just escape it.
yeah.
I had this conversation with multiple people, not just Mango, but like you can't. It's not worth it.
It's not an
Like
option.
even celebrities. Think about if you want to think about celebrities. Like think about I've been listening to podcasts for fucking years now. You hear Kevin Hart, right? And he's like, yeah, like I don't have Twitter. Like I'll get off of it. If you hear something else, it's gonna convolute your goal. Like
It
it's not
complicates things.
yeah, it's just creating drama or some kind of complication to basically put a barrier in your goal.
Yeah,
And when you put that barrier there, any barrier, you're not going to achieve it as quickly. And
yeah,
so he was talking about that. Him, Elon Musk, I want to say, and like people were just saying on Joe Rogan's podcast, like
yeah, yeah.
thoughts, and they're just like, yeah, it's not worth the time of day. Like it's not
I don't have
simply
time for that. I need to go somewhere.
I
I got
don't
somewhere to be.
I'm doing my goal, and if you're gonna be negative, or if you like, and they'll be like they have their circle of friends, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And that circle of friends they'll listen to, but it's not necessarily gonna be helpful. They'll okay, I'm not gonna listen to that. You still have your filters,
they don't need to
but
listen to the crowd. They don't need the people to tell them how
right,
what they're doing.
right, dude, go to any Instagram or fucking Twitter and start reading comments.
It's so brain dead. It's so brain dead.
It's just like okay, I could get I'm just gonna go into this cycle of bullshit.
Mm.
Like it's just like I'm gonna get. This is no point. You
Yeah,
know, like, okay, like so, yeah. Yeah, I could go on about that, but it's like I feel like okay, I've experienced it, and this is why I feel that much animosity towards it.
I've
I'm
experienced it too.
Yeah, I know a lot of people have, and that's why I'm saying like you did or you didn't, and this is where this kind of resonates with like Zane or somebody. It's like, well, you haven't experienced this in Melee,
Yeah.
like yeah. So it's just kind of interesting.
And those voices as well, like for you being Mango's friend and being like part of the Norwalk crew and stuff, it's like you got put in a bit of an unfair position because like you didn't just get to be a player. You know, you were already, as you're saying, you went to that Texas tournament. People had expectations, and so those
Yeah,
voices in your head about what other people think is probably actually kind of real shit because like people actually are talking about like what Alex19. Oh, Alex19 is going to go to this tournament, and it's like
yeah,
most people got to organically just build up and be their own player and not have a million people talking about them like all the time
yeah,
until they get to like the very top, right? At which point you're like a bit better equipped to deal with it.
yeah. Um, yeah, that hits me in a different way too. Like this might be touchy for some people. I don't know how much time you got or what. Like I don't know.
We got like 15 more minutes,
Okay,
roughly. I usually like to go about 2 hours.
okay. I don't know. I was just gonna say yeah. Same shit. Like with my whole Nez situation. Like I like Nez. He was fine. Whatever. And and he hit me up about stuff, controller and shit. You don't got to use this or anything, but and then he just kind of like I threw my jabs. I'll definitely say that. But he was kind of like, oh yeah, he's like, you're just Mango's friend, and I was like, okay, I met Mango like 2007. This shit all popped off like way later,
Yeah.
like way, and I was like, you can't just you're throwing me under the bus, calling me out like a clout chaser. I was like, I knew him like 4 or 5 years before any of
Yeah,
this.
and that's rich coming from someone who, like, has rode the wave pretty hard, you know, in terms of like talking to the right people, giving things to the
Right,
right people.
exactly. Him.
I won't say
I
anything
respect.
bad about Nez, but what I will say is like he's definitely picked the people that he's helped
Oh,
in order of
I,
who's most popular, which is fair
I
enough.
res- right. I respect his grind 100 million%.
Yeah, me
That's
too.
great. You did a good job. And but for example, he offered to give me a free controller. And then I made jokes that I never got the free controller. And then he got mad that I was saying that.
Yeah.
I never got it. Okay. So it's like, and you're over here cloud chasing with giving Mango free controllers or Johnny free controllers and Johnny and like Joey and I'm like, okay, so you're doing the same shit except you didn't
Ex-
have any actual
Except he's
like
actually doing it for real, and you were just the homie
he's
from
doing
before any.
exactly my point. And I yeah. Anyways, I'm not going into that, but I was like, but he had expectation
Yeah,
going in. Like
yeah,
he was thinking, and I was like, what the
yeah.
fuck? Like, but I don't know. Yeah, like that's interesting. You could edit this however you like.
It's just gonna be one clip, the whole thing.
Oh
Uh,
fuck! All right, well, go for it.
yeah. If I mean, whatever
No,
that.
that's fine. I don't care.
Yeah. I mean, I never say any shit that I wouldn't want clipped. Like it doesn't bother me either. But yeah. It's
It's hard to
interesting
say.
though when people are like, dude, like you're a, you know, you get branded as this person. It's like I just hung out with some guys and we played melee together, and now I want to play more melee. Like I just want to go to a tournament, and then people are like, "Oh, like you play friendlies with that?" Like there's all of these like
Yeah,
a character just gets made up for you and put in, and you're like, "Oh, actually, I'm just a guy."
yeah. That was basically why I was kind of like trying to separate myself a little bit. Like I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Whatever. I'll play Fortnite. I'll play, and then in moments, people are just like, dude, you have like this many views. Like
Oh,
you're,
that's a classic, dude. I hate
and then,
that.
dude, yeah, it's kind of annoying, but I'm kind of like, Yeah, I did when I was fucking drinking like crazy and like fucking, I don't know, I had a different image and now
Yeah, for real.
route. So it's like, okay, yeah. I was like, that was me. And they're like, what happened? I was like, shit's got to change, dude. And I'm like, how old are you? Like, can I gotta really explain that I can't just die off of something like that?
Yeah,
Or,
yeah, for real shit. Like kids actually think that the people and like maybe their favorite people on Twitch are just these like cartoon characters.
right.
And it's like,
Yeah. And I'm like, okay. When I went to the hospital, guy, or whatever happened, I went to the hospital. My family and my girlfriend were there, and then it's like, you think they're just gonna forget overnight? I gotta live with this one.
yeah, for for real, dude.
Like, I gotta live with her every day. Like, I can't just keep partying every day. Like,
For real
yeah,
shit.
I know it's fine, $5 a month, sure, that's fair. I was like, but it's not gonna work that
Mm,
way from on my end.
yeah,
But
and it's tough when that's the image that you built up, which was you at the time,
that's
to come back and
correct.
people are like, "Oh, this guy's not. He was either not being real now or he's not being real then." And it's like, no,
Yeah.
it's all real.
Even on your end, when you hit me up, you're like, you haven't been streaming and now you're back. And I'm like, okay, yeah, this is reality. And I took a break
Yeah,
and this whole, yeah, coronavirus thing came up. Like, I was like, yeah, I'm taking a break and I'm explaining to you like properly. But some people are just like, oh, yeah, you're not the same. I'm out of here. I'm like, all right, dude. All right, get the fuck out of here then.
that's whack as fuck, man.
It is. It's pretty. It's super shitty.
And
It's like,
it's interesting the things that you realize you could do to make your stream bigger. Like I'm sure you know, obviously, like you grew your stream, and it's like I know there's things I could say, and there's things I could do, and there's things I could stream that would make me far more successful on the platform. And it's just
mhm.
like whether you want to do that is a whole nother thing.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right in that. And I could say shit that is going to benefit me to beyond, but I'm like, is this going to further go, or is it something I'm saying as a like facade?
Yeah, pretty much.
And so I don't say it, and I'm kind of like, I'm a little picky with my words. I'm
Yeah.
playing the games I want to play. And yeah, I'll play Melee. Like, fuck yeah, I'll play Melee. I love Melee. I do love Melee, but I'm not gonna, when I'm getting bored of it, all right, I'm taking a break. And
Yeah.
people are like, why are you stopping or whatever? And I'm like, because I'm getting bored of it. I'm
Yeah.
not just gonna keep doing it till it's like boring and
Mm,
fucking I'm over it and I hate it and I have shit bad to say about it. Like,
yeah. Till it's gonna get negative.
exactly. So it's definitely an interesting thing. And there's like the same opinions with like actors. You'll see like fucking actors that are just like they fell off and they're like, yeah, no, I'm over it. I don't want the fame or whatever.
I don't
Like,
want to do that again. I did it.
uh-huh,
Yeah, I don't want to ride that roller
exactly.
coaster again.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
respect, I completely respect, like either. Like, you did a
Yeah.
good job, end it, or if you want to keep going, pursue it. The hungry boxes or like the
As long as you're
mangoes, like,
staying true, man. As long as
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah. So I took a break. Yeah, I'm kind of like, yeah, but I want to stream. I want to still hang out with the homies that
That's
are
what it is, man.
supporting. Yeah, and like, I'm not trying to fucking just do it for the money. I don't give a fuck about that. like,
Yeah,
like
yeah. And that's
shits about that.
I
Like,
think
even though time are hard, I could still give two shits about that.
yeah, I respect that so much, man. I think that a lot of melee players at their heart feel the same thing. Like cuz we don't play this game for the money. Like melee players' priorities isn't cash. We'd be doing something completely fucking different if it was. We're looking for
Hmm.
something else. And
Right.
uh
Yeah, no, and
I
I
think
went through my hard times too, like money wise, and I was kind of like, oh fuck, I need to stream. And then when it turns into that, it's not the same, man. You could ask Brandon. I'm pretty sure. I remember he had like 50 subs and shit, and like, look at him now. He's sitting nice. Like, I'm not saying he earned it.
And
Like,
he's done it so real as well, man.
oh, and he's always been real. Like, I love Brandon. I keep supporting him till the day. Like, and he's doing great, and I'm kind of like, keep going, man. Like, keep going, dude. You earned it. Like,
And he does it his way. I like that so much about him. Like he's not on some like trying to get a clip, trying to say some shit about somebody else, like trying to like blow up some dumb shit. He's like, I'm gonna host melee tournaments, and if you want to have fun playing this game with me, and I'm gonna be having fun watching it, let's do that together.
oh yeah, definitely. I love Brandon for that shit, dude. He's so good. I support him very much. But yeah, he wasn't trying to make a clip. You watch his stream when he first started. He's not different.
No, he's not. He's exactly the same.
He's the same. He's the same. So that's why I was like, I can't feel like I could say the same, because I was fucking drinking and doing all kinds of crazy shit.
Yeah.
And so I needed a break. Like, I needed to not do that.
Yeah.
Like,
and I remember watching your stream as well back before you came to Australia. We might just getting a bit mindful of time. I don't know how much time you sort of thought this would go, but I'm enjoying it. So
go for it. Yeah.
I remember watching your stream and thinking, like, Alex is kind of a bit of a bully. Like, some of the things you were saying and like the way that you were acting and stuff, like you would roast people in the chat, you would like be roasting other top players or whatever, and it was never too much, but I got this vibe of like, I don't know, like this guy's a bit like a bit like aggressive and stuff, and I was like, shit, like this guy's kind of like,
I won't take that back necessarily.
It was never like explicit, but I had that vibe. And then I remember meeting you and being like, I expected like, oh, I don't know if I'm gonna like Alex just from like what I know, like the persona. And then you were this completely like, you were like asking my parents, like, are you guys okay? Like everybody else is just like leaving chicken drumsticks on the floor and shit. And you're like,
I was like
talking to my mom, like you're like making sure Mango gets to all the fan stuff. Like Mango's like, you know, saying he doesn't want to go to some Project M tournament that people paid for him to go to, and you're like, come on, Mango, get in the car. Like you were doing all that shit, and I was like, this is not like
what you expected.
This is not what I expected. Like this guy is super real as fuck, and
I've been like that dude forever, and that's why I didn't like that persona I was putting out, and I kind of had to take a break. But it's kind of weird because those were putting out the numbers for me.
Yeah, and when you're doing numbers, it's like, I guess I gotta keep.
Yeah, you keep it up. You want to keep going. It's like, all right, whatever. But when productivity is negative, like, if that makes sense, like you're doing something good, but you're not getting subs. It's kind of confusing. Like it's contradicting, and I kind of like, I felt like I needed to take a step back. I was like, well, fuck, I guess I'm gonna take a break from streaming, like. Or whatever, like,
yeah.
And that's why I really did like, you know, and when I know what you're meaning, but like, you know, like making fun of streamers, like I still think that's funny sometimes.
Me too, like for real. And that's the thing, is like there's still these parts of us that exist, and that's real too.
Calling people chicken nuggets or whatever, or saying random shit, and I'm like, okay, well, I kind of still think it's funny. I'm not trying to be like fucking anything. Like, I don't know.
I know what you mean, man. I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah, there was a guy who's just kind of like, he's like, dude, I didn't like that you commentated and said this. And I was like, did you think it was funny? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, well, then what the fuck? I was like, that's all I'm trying to do. But, it was that deal. But,
dude, it's cool that you didn't just give into that. I think a lot of people they just never, you know, like a lot of weaker guys than you maybe have that accident, and they go, oh, that wasn't real shit. Like, we could still, the party's going on, boys, you know, turn on the stream, grab the bottle, get back to it, you know. Like, a lot of people go down that rabbit hole, man, and they, to the day they die, they won't admit that,
bro,
any of that shit fucked up.
I kind of did for a while, but then it was kind of like, fuck.
You wake up one day and it's like,
change. little bit of shit, and then like some people are like, yeah, no, Alex, what the fuck, you're not the same. And I'm like, dude, no, this is how it's gotta be, man. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's kind of rough. It's interesting. It's a very interesting like route what I went through or people go through. I'm not the only one.
Yeah.
I bet. So I'm kind of like not necessarily putting my foot down, but like there, don't feel ashamed if you're, you know, feeling like that and like, all right, whatever. Like, do what you got to do.
For real.
If you need help, yeah, hit somebody up, whatever. Like, because I was in that rabbit hole and it was fucked for a while, and I was like, fuck, but I could make more money. Oh, but I was having fun with Melee. Oh, but like, it's like, Jesus, dude.
Yeah. And people start telling you you're this person. Like, you go to your family thing and they're like, oh, it's the pro,
Like,
it's the pro gamer. And you're like,
yeah,
maybe that is me. And then,
yeah,
it's like this whole thing is like,
yeah.
all of these other forces are pressing in, and you're just like, I guess that's just me now. I guess I got to go with this.
Yeah. Dude, no, exactly. It's like, oh shit, Alex, he could chug a 40. Let's go.
Yeah.
And then it's like your mom or your aunt be like, you chugged a 40? It's like, oh shit. Like, it's like two opposite sides. It's like, oh goodness.
Yeah, and at some point, yeah, like you were saying, it's like, I think a lot of people. I mean, I think
it's a gang of people, dude. I feel like I saw it during Australia when I showed up at your house and like, dude, the house was ruined.
I've been a part of that culture, like 100%. I've been that guy, like shotgunning beers at like 1 p.m. with the boys. You know, wake up, start drinking again.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Oh,
but like, at some stage, especially when people start telling you who you are, because a lot of that stuff's on camera, that's when it starts getting weird.
Yeah, dude. That's why I was like, dude, I want to be on Miles' parents' level, dude. Like, they came out, they saw the mayhem, they were just sipping coffee or tea or whatever they were sipping, and I was like, holy shit, these guys are zen.
Yeah, they really are. They're special people, man.
They're amazing. So I was like, how do I get to that level of like just... I was thinking about it, I was like, oh, jeez. I was laughing at that. I was thinking about that earlier today.
Dude, this has been such a good chat though, Matt, because I feel like I'm going through some identity stuff at the moment too, like in various different ways.
I feel like it's very, very informative towards anyone.
Yeah,
and that's kind of where my stream's kind of like gone, you know?
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
that's my stream. Like, I'm not just like, okay, fucking 40 Friday or whatever the fuck. Like, I'm not trying to get wasted on a day, even though I know that's going to bring viewers or whatever if I did something like that. But no shame on Mango. I'm not. This is not anything like that.
I'm not trying to like down talk anyone else who is still in that life. I mean, I was drinking on stream pretty recently myself, and so like I'm not.
Sure, that's fair. And when
I
had my. Chat, like I had relapses and stuff, like I had problems and I was trying to fix them, and I'm just saying what I'm trying to put out to the world isn't what I was putting out.
For real.
And so that's where I'm at, but and have fun, dude. Go have fun. If you want to have fun, be safe, whatever, that's fine. I'm not at that little point in my life, and I don't know. I still support Melee everything. People are just like, "Hey, Alex, where you been?" I'm here. Yeah. I'm here. Just not the same exact like all that shit. When I hang out, you'll see me at a tournament. I'll probably still roast your ass, and
yeah,
I'll make fun, laugh for fun. But I'm not. My streams aren't the same.
Yeah, for real.
And that's completely fine with me. And I could still have something if I wanted to, but it's like I'm chilling, man.
Yeah, and it's interesting that whole change happened, and you realize that it was a personality thing as well, like that you were playing.
Saw how deep it got.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, no, it's pretty heavy. So I was like, okay, I'm not sure what Miles is trying to fucking put out with this podcast deal, but
I just
got
wanted
some
to see, what was up, and dude, this has been one of the best so far. I think every different guest we talk about different stuff. Obviously, like with Moki, it was just a lot of talking about like his custom combos and like what he's doing on a day to day basis and stuff. But I felt
Fuck monkeys. I love Moki. I'm fucking around.
Yeah,
but he's just monopolized the whole Twitter clips situation.
He has, dude.
It's
no one else can compete.
Yeah, no, it's no way. I'm just being a hater. I'm joking.
Yeah, but like I knew asking you that this conversation would potentially go down the route of like identity and where you were versus, especially I thought the Australia stories. I knew the Australia stories were coming. I knew they'd be good too.
But yeah, you should probably link on the bottom some
different stamps times. Yeah.
No. There's the Johnny STJ story, whatever.
Yeah.
That one just for fun for them.
But make a nice Alex in Australia thumbnail too.
Absolutely, so much fun. Australia. I remember I was like, people were trying to. They would just people in Australia. They were just putting drinks on next to my setup, and I was like, what? I was like, all right, yeah. Like I would just drink it. People were watching. People were asking, but I was giving them tips. Like it was fun. It was super fun. Your house was amazing.
Maybe after all of this, you can come back, man.
Oh man, I'd love to with like maybe some homies
girlfriend as well. Like,
oh shit! I thought you were coming back.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to, man. As much as we've been talking about changing, I think one thing that's not gonna change is me trying to play Melee any way I can.
Oh, me neither, dude.
Yeah.
Oh man. But yeah. So we wrapping this or what?
Let's wrap it here.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds like a good spot. And thanks for having me, man.
Dude, thank you.
I feel like I owed you a fucking solid for sure.
Oh, yeah. This has been more than that, man. This was a great chat.
Yeah, dude. And let us know when you're fucking back and yeah.
we can go and not grab a beer.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll just play some Melee.
Whatever. Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, I'll clip this up and put it on YouTube, but I'm going to end stream there, and peace out everyone in chat, and peace to you too, Alex.
All right, later.